Hi, Summer here with the Pine River Library, and we're trying this new thing of having every other week having some literacy tip videos that are really focused on like literacy activities you can do with your kids. Here's what's great about it. These are going to be grab bags, so you can pick them up from the library, and I include my lesson plan in it. So if you want to disconnect from the screens, you can do it just yourselves. So I'm going to go over the basics in here, but you're totally set to do this on your own. One other thing I want to show you is I want to remind you we have this really awesome website. Here's what's great about this. We have all this information on our website as well. So for any reason, if something happens and we're not able to open our doors, or if you're uncomfortable coming in for any reason, you can either get this curbside or you can just come online and look and see what I have. Some of these things maybe you need to print, so you can always come in. You can grab them from us as long as we don't have stay-at-home orders. So here is what we have, our virtual programming. So you go to use services or programs. It's under either one of them. And our virtual programming is really focusing on our littlest littles. So I read and do story times and songs every Tuesday. The other thing I have is like literacy activities and tips and tricks. So I alternate between posting videos with posting literacy activities. So posting story times and literacy activities. So I have a video from I have a video that was the democracy edition, and this was kind of like setting up on how we do this. And I had the video on November 3rd. So you can find that on our website as well as on our Facebook. It was posted that day on Thursday. And then I did a resource day. So I connected to Vroom. Vroom is awesome. Here's why it's super cool. It's daily interactive literacy tips that you can access from an online account or text or download and print these off. So I have the first page in the grab and go bags, and I'll keep on putting pages of this in there. And it's color coded. So it's things that really talk about the science behind what you're doing and really simple activities of things you're probably already doing, but it brings intentionality to it. The thing that's awesome about this is you don't need the internet. You can text Vroom to 48258 and put in your child's age and get information just for them, and they'll send you text messages. Amazing resource. Now, so for this week, I'm going to have this video posted here under literacy activity bag. D is for dinosaur. And right here, this is the printout that's in your grab and go bags. If you click on the link, it gives you just a link to this PDF. So you can download or just look at it from here. So I have what's inside. We have this literacy plan. We have interactive things for them to be doing, like coloring, decorating, writing, practicing their letters and numbers. And as an extension, you can cut out some of the dinosaurs. So I also have like a lot of dinosaurs at the end. If your child likes dinosaurs, it's all these different dinosaurs, like they can have as little flashcards, which are fun. So here's what these activities build. And I always want to include this so you can kind of like know where we're going and what we're doing with these things. And I totally believe that you can get to the point where you can be like, oh, I'm doing fine motor skills right now because I have them cutting or tearing something out of paper instead of doing it for them. I'm having them glue things together. I'm having them color this in. So those are really important. Fine motor skills are things that help us start writing. Another thing that these activities focus on is shape recognition. So recognizing shapes is really important both for getting ready to write, read, and do math. So shape recognition is important for both recognizing letters as well as numbers. This is like 2-for-1 awesomeness. Some fun ways to do this. That's why we also have a book recommendation page. So I have a construction shapes one. And what it has is it shows all these shapes inside of different construction trucks. So you can start playing this game where you're like, oh, I see a triangle. And it can be a tree that looks like a triangle. So getting them to start seeing and recognizing those normal shapes that we see every day, that's going to help a lot, which is super cool and fun. And the other thing I'm working on is phonetic skills. So how do you sound out these letters? There's a few different ways we do that. So this is my literacy plan. I have this song, Dino Ditty, and I'm actually going to pull that from the songs that I sang for our story times. I picked the same songs for these 2-month period of times. So repetition is really important because they need to start being able to singing along and understanding what's coming next is really important for the learning process. So ideally you're doing the same set of maybe 10 songs, 5 to 10 songs for like 6 to 8 weeks is what is recommended. So I'm going to be going more into that. I had a tendency to jump around on songs because we all like something new, but that repetition is so important for the kids. So just know that's why I do that. I like jumping around too much. So I'm really working on like picking that and using the repetition. And the other thing we're going to be working on is phonetics, how we pronounce things. So there's a few different ways. And what's cool about this is I took some trainings, and one of them was talking about how you can use speech therapy to explain to people that are having trouble pronouncing things. When they hear it, they're not fully getting what's going on. So we need to show them multiple ways in which how they can understand like how things sound and how we pronounce things and how it feels to say that letter. So here's a couple of really cool ways. So when you're working with the letter D, you can explain, right, that what you're doing is you have your mouth and your tongue. You're going to be pushing the tip of your tongue against the top of the roof of your mouth, right behind your teeth. Then release the tongue, allowing air to rush through your mouth. So, da, da, da. Slowing that down can really help. What's cool about using these tips that are helpful for people who have auditory processing disorders is it can help everyone learn better. So these are things that help everyone increase their skills around it, even though it was developed for auditory processing disorder. Another cool thing that I found out is you can use a mirror. So grab a mirror for your little ones and let them see what their mouth looks like. Or you can have them look into your mouth because you're living in the same household. This is okay. Don't do this with strangers because you don't want your kids getting this close to people right now. But you can see, like, they can start seeing what that looks like when they do it and what it looks like when you do it. Another thing you can do is you can put a little bit of peanut butter that plays right behind your teeth so they can feel where their tongue should be. So all of these things, combining some sensory, visual, auditory, all really help your kids learn these things. And that's a really cool tip that you can start doing when you're explaining, like if you're working on this with your little ones right now. What I did is I went to places that really focus on auditory disorders, and I see how they actually explain that. Because for me, I don't think about how I say the letter D or the letter R, like, so I have to look at some of those things. So another thing that we did, and I'm going to do this separately in a minute, but we cut out, so you can cut or tear. So remember how I said this really helps with learning their fine motor skills. You want to let them do this. If they ruin a letter in some way or whatever, it's fine. You can actually just write this out on a piece of paper and have them cut or rip it out, whatever works. You can even have them write the letters out. They can either practice within these guys or they can write their own and kind of copy yours. You can do dotted lines for them, like anyone you want to help them along with this. So we have Dinosaur all written out. I have all the letters here and I'll show you in a minute what we're going to be doing with that. And one other part is rhyming. Play a lot of rhyming games. Rhyming with real and made up words are really important for kids. Like, this really helps them understand. Okay, so rhyming is really important because it both helps them understand word families, pet, met, set, things that all sound similar, belonging to a similar word family, as well as the language. So just go crazy with rhyming with them. It's a fun game to play with anything you want. And you can get them going thinking like dinosaurs are a chore, but they're not a bore. And I would like to see one soar. So you can get like even like building off a story off of each other. You could just rhyme the words specifically. Dinosaurs, dinosaur, chore, bore, soar, core, lore. I'm getting a little bit out of the rhyming family, but it's close enough. So let them explore with that and what that sounds like. And once they hear it, being able to identify which words rhyme. And as always, we have a ton of dinosaur books at the library, so it's really fun to combine a dinosaur book with this activity. Some really cool things to be doing with this is having them sit on your lap and on purpose start with the book upside down and backwards. Get them to flip the book the right way so you can read it. And if they never get to that point, start reading it backwards. They'll start realizing something is wrong with the pictures being upside down. All these things. Another thing, have them turn the page, have them be as engaged in this as possible. Have them turn the page for you. You can also use your finger to say to point to each word you're saying, and have them put their finger on top of yours. So they can like ride the finger and use that to keep them really engaged on what you're saying. Listening and seeing it at the same time is going to help with that word recognition. All right. And then the last song that I put on here was See You Later, Alligator. Here I cut these letters out, so you can cut or tear or write up your own on your own page. Here's a dinosaur. This is where they're getting some practice, like copying these dotted lines. They can color this in. They can add things to it. So they can glue on the little dinosaur flashcards to it. They can glue on the dinosaur numbers to it. These are tracing numbers and counting. They can also color. So I have 3 different pages like this. And finally, we have all these flashcards. And one last thing I have. So this is all our songs, rhymes, and finger plays. This is what we do both in the story time, and I'll pull from these songs for literacy time as well. Okay. All right. So let me just. So the one other thing I'm going to show you is how to actually put all of these letters together. So I'm going to move over to my desk and just show you the letters and how I have them spaced out and model what it looks like when you slowly move these letters together to make a word. Okay, so we're starting with these far apart and we're going to say it really slowly. So we're going to say D, A, N, O, S, A, Oor. And we're going to move them a little closer together. Dinosaur. You're going to move a little closer together. Dinosaur. I'm kind of putting these together. Sour. That was my bad. We'll move them a little closer together. I can almost get them all onto the same side, but not quite. Dinosaur. And we're going to put them all the way together. We're going to say it all at once. Dinosaur. So what's great about this activity is that it helps them figure out how to sound out words, starting with how does each letter sound and moving them closer and closer to start saying, how do they start sounding together? So for me, you notice it was really hard for me to say the U-R, the A-U-R, I want to put together. It's really difficult for me to separate those sounds out. But that's really critical to help model for them what that looks like as they're learning to read. And they're going to use that as that stepping stone as they become fluent readers. All right, so thank you so much for dropping in for this. I hope you enjoy our grab bags and this is a helpful video for you. And have a great day, everybody. Bye. All right, the song is called Dino Ditty. A hungry dino walking down the street singing dino ditty ditty dum ditty do. He's looking for something good to eat singing dino ditty ditty dum ditty do. He's big, he's big, he's strong, he's strong. He won't be hungry very long. Now it's time for a goodbye song. So this is done to See You Later, Alligator, and it's just a little bit longer. It's really fun with some good motions in them. See you later, alligator, in a wild crocodile. Give a hug, ladybug. Blow a kiss, jellyfish. See you soon, Big Baboon. Out the door, Dinosaur. Take care, Polar Bear. Wave goodbye, Butterfly. All right, until next time. Bye, everyone.